Hey everybody, come on in. It's the Daily Bern. We're going to start in just a minute. I give you just a little time to get in, like and share. This is an independent little show and we need your help to grow. So share this out, invite your friends, get people in here. Good to see we got a little bit of people coming in on both sites. We're up on YouTube as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to share the link to the YouTube feed to the Facebook feed just in case something happens and we go down on Facebook. You can come to YouTube and join us for the same feed on YouTube, and that's the link right there. So thanks for coming to the Daily Bern. I'm Sean, and I got a burn planned for you. It's Friday, so we have to have a burn. Friday is a hot burn. Whoops. Everyone knows that Friday is the hottest burn of the week. But I'm going to invite some people and share this around a little bit. You do the same, and we'll get some people in here. We're going to talk a little bit. I just got done watching a Bernie rally. I spent my afternoon watching a Bernie rally, and it was inspirational. And I have some takeaways from that rally that I wanted to get into with you guys and talk about and see what you think. But I think that Bernie is not messing around. That's what I took away from the rally today that I watched. The more I watch him lately, the more I realize he is done playing. And he is outright addressing the rigging and shenanigans and all of the BS that's going on in this primary. He's addressing it. He's talking about it. He's talking about how afraid the establishment is and how they're doing absolutely everything they can in their power to attempt to stop us. He's addressing these things, and he's also being aggressive. Today's message in the speech I watched today was about what he's going to do on day one. All right, day one's a big day for the Bernie Sanders administration, by the way. There's a lot that Bernie intends to do on day one. Big one that I think, big one for me anyway, is legalize cannabis on the federal level and decriminalize it. Day one, very first day. That's aggressive. That needs to happen. Day one, protect dreamers and DACA recipients and their families. On day one, there's a lot that Bernie intends to do from the very first day, and it is exciting. I'm excited to be a part of it and to get to help move it forward. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what your concerns are. Tomorrow's Nevada. I'm a little worried. I'm not worried that we'll win. I know we'll win. But we know their strategy. We know what they're going to try to do at this point. They're going to try to pull delegates. That's all they want to do. They want to have a brokered convention. That's what they're setting this up for. None of them care to win themselves. They just want to pull enough from Bernie to make sure that Bernie doesn't win. And what that's really about is making sure that we don't win. But it's not going to matter because we are going to overwhelm them, and they know that, and they're afraid. But they are going to do everything they can to stop us. But we can do this if we stop living our fears and live our dreams. This is the way change takes place. We're heading in the right direction. So keep moving forward. Keep doing all you can. Keep pushing. Get everyone you can out. If you're going to be in Nevada for the caucuses, get everyone you can out to caucus. Overwhelm them at every opportunity. That's what we have to do. But then we also have to be willing to, when the time comes, to be there physically. And I do think that time is going to come. So we need to prepare ourselves to be there, to have our butts in Milwaukee at the convention. We may have to make our stand. So we need to be getting ready for that right now. So it's good to go ahead and plan for it. Bernie's going to win big in these states coming up. In Nevada tomorrow, Bernie's going to win. I'm sure of it. Every poll shows it by far, double digits. Bernie's going to kill it in Nevada. And then Super Tuesday, we're going to crush California. I really feel good about California. And California is the biggest part of Super Tuesday. California has the most delegates. And they're the biggest state as far as population and delegate power. So that's going to be a big win. But again, they're going to try to pull enough delegates so that Bernie doesn't get a big, huge chunk out of California. So we have to make sure that we overwhelm California, overwhelm every opportunity, but be prepared to physically be there, to physically put your butt out on the line and make your presence known, to show our power and to show our force. We have to be prepared for that inevitable conclusion, because I really do think that that is where this is heading. This is heading to a brokered convention where they're going to try to rig this, going to try and steal the nomination. That's what they're going to try to do. But we're not going to allow them to do that. Kilo says, "What's up, Bernie 2020? They were trying to make the Nevada campaign captions to sign non-disclosure forms. We need to stay vigilant, keep eyes wide open." You're absolutely right, and that's true. They making the captains and the Nevada caucus workers sign non-disclosure agreements that they cannot speak to the media about anything that they see. What are they going to see? A bunch of shady coin tosses? You know, where you look at the coin before you flip it over and adjust it in your hand? You saw that coin toss? That's the kind of stuff they do. That's democracy. That's the DNC's version of democracy. We have to watch them like a hawk. You're absolutely right. And we must do that. And we must document the whole thing, and we must scream loud. Be very, very vocal. Get louder. You can't be loud enough. We have to wake enough people. That's all we need to do. And we're not that far away from building our momentum and our movement to a point where we're unstoppable, just on momentum alone. So we need to keep pushing, keep moving forward, build as much as we can. Hey, Ginger, good to see you over here on YouTube. Berners will film all of it, document everything. We have to be the media. We have to expose this. Now, I've done away with exit polling. They don't do that anymore. We can't have that. That shows too much. It's hard to rig when you're showing fraud in your exit polling. So they don't do those anymore. They don't want to do exit polls anymore. But we have to be the ones. We have to be the ones that document this stuff. Excuse me, and expose it. And we just need to wake enough people up to the truth of what's actually going on here. What's actually happening right now in this country. Again, a rigged election. And I know people will tell me over and over again, they love to tell me, it's a primary. It's not an election. And the DNC is a private corporation, and they've already said in court that they can choose whoever they want, and they can do whatever they want. And while that's true, in a certain way, to a certain point, it is an election. This is how we're choosing the presidential candidate for the Democratic nomination of the United States. One of the most important jobs. This matters. It should matter to everybody. And if we overwhelm it, we can take down this rigged system. It is rigged. But we can overwhelm it and take it down. But it will take documenting it, filming it, raising people's awareness, showing them what's happening, getting enough of us riled up and united together, standing firm, and we can make this happen. We can make this a reality. We will. We are. But we're going to have to accept, I think, and get ready for the fact, and I don't mean to be so ADHD here and be all over the place, but we need to get ready for the fact that they're going to push for this broker convention strategy. And we need to accept that that's probably where this is going to head. So it's going to take direct action. It's going to take overwhelming them at every opportunity, every primary, every caucus, every chance we get to overwhelm them. It's going to take that, but it's also going to take direct action. It's going to take physically being there and getting out there and making our presence known and showing our strength. Our strength is in our unity and our numbers. They need us to be weak, go to sleep, lay back down, quit. We can't do that. Ginger says infiltrate. Right now, Bloomberg is handing out money. He is handing out money to canvass for him, to support him on social media. Ginger shared an article today, something like $2,500 a month to promote Bloomberg on social media. Infiltrate that shit. Take that money. I'm going to get me some of that Bloomberg money. And I guarantee you, when I'm taking that money, I'm canvassing and promoting Bernie Sanders. And I'm spreading the truth, which is all you got to do. You don't have to slander Mike Bloomberg. All you have to do is spread the truth about Mike Bloomberg. Show people who he really is. Show them his record. Show them his past. Show them the facts. That's it. You don't have to slander him. Ginger says $2,500 for troll farms in California. He is throwing a ton of money at this election. He claims he's going to throw $1 billion at it, but how much dark money will he throw at it? He's going to do everything that he can. They are going to do everything that they can. The rest of them damn shills up there are up there for the same reason. They're running against Bernie Sanders. They're not running against anybody but Bernie, and Bernie represents us, so every damn one of them is in our way and standing in the way of progress. Every single one of them. If any of them gave a shit, they would drop out and support the clear frontrunner. At this point, it's absolutely crystal clear who the people want and who has actual support and who has an actual movement behind them and can actually win. There's only one up there, and they all know it, and they all know that they're running against him. Every single one of them. And I think, this is off topic again, this is a little ADHD, but Andrew Yang has shown us his true colors. Instead of being a stand-up guy and doing what he should have done, which is endorse Bernie, he's taken himself a job with CNN, the Clinton News Network. What does he need with that? I thought he was rich. Maybe just the fame and the exposure. I don't know. Kilo says he can take his money and entitled ego and stick it. I know, I get it, but I'm saying, steal it. It's not stealing. He's throwing it away. How can they possibly track it? You know, take the money to go canvass for Bloomberg, but canvass for Bernie. It's just an idea that Ginger was having, and I think it's a smart idea. You can't stop him. People are going to take that money. Kilo says that doesn't surprise me about Yang. Not me either, but I was starting to want to believe, at least, I was starting to want to believe that Yang was a good guy. Jack says Bloomberg got $2 billion in federal tax back. That is his free money of our tax dollars. Ginger says Pete didn't hit Bloomberg during the debate, only Bernie. Yeah, Bloomberg is their guy. They are all up there running to be Bloomberg's vice president and stop Bernie Sanders. None of them has any intention of even beating Mike Bloomberg. I think at first they were going to be running to be Biden's vice president. Every one of them was up there running to be Biden's vice president. But Biden proved that he couldn't carry a campaign at all. He can't even finish a sentence. So Bloomberg comes along. Bloomberg's their guy. It's Bloomberg versus Bernie. Pete slipped up and said it, admitted it during the debate. It's Bloomberg versus Bernie. That's the fact of it. You know, that little CIA shill, he didn't mean to say that. But he gave himself away. And every one of them wants to be Bloomberg's buddy. And that's probably why Pete didn't go after him. But Pete went after Bernie pretty hard with some heavy bullshit and propaganda. Sorry, I try not to cuss on this one. But $2,500 a month. That's Bloomberg's throwing crazy amounts of money. Ginger says, at this point, I believe Bloomberg is paying Pete to stay in. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Pete's very in the pocket of the establishment, and he definitely would accept that money. They're going to stay in because they're part of a plan. Pete attended the meetings on it, the Stop Burning meetings. This is what they came up with. I'm telling you. Flood the field, pull enough delegates to force a broker convention, take the nomination. Hope that the people sit back down, lay back down, go to sleep, and take it like they did in 2016. We have to show them and telegraph it, let them know along the way, we're not going to do that. We cannot do that. We will not do that. That's not going to happen. We're not going to allow this. This can't stand. We need enough people raising a fuss about this election being rigged on both sides of the aisle. I'm tired of the Republican side thinking it's funny. It's not funny. And even Trump's talking about it. Democrats are going to pull some stuff in Nevada. He just talked about it at his rally. Sorry. Everyone sees it. The media is not reporting on it because the media is garbage. The independent media is reporting on it. Everybody sees it. We see it with our own eyes. And every one of those shills stood up there on that stage and said that they'd rather let the superdelegates decide the nomination than the voters. That I fully believe that's exactly what they're doing. Kilo says Bloomtard might drop money into the others if loses popularity. Yeah, but I think he wants to be the one. He's going to bankroll it and put all of his money behind it. He wants to be the one. So, did you see that he put out edited version of the debate to try to make himself look better? Ginger says Pete's the worst because he pretends to be something he's not. His father was a Marxist, but he's the epitome of white privilege and a huge sellout. People will die, and Pete doesn't care. Pete not only doesn't care, but is actively working against people getting health insurance, people getting quality health care, everyone getting quality health care, and for people to stop being killed over not being able to afford their medicine or the treatment that they need. He's working very hard. That I always knew that was his agenda. He's been open about that and out front and obvious about that since the very beginning. But at this point, the more I've learned about him and his background in propaganda, and especially with his intelligence background, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. And I don't like that he's up there on the stage and misinforming people and misdirecting on Medicare for All. You know, I think that's criminal because Ginger's right. People are dying because of this, because of lack of health care and because of things being out of their reach, healthcare wise. So it is awful and criminal what he's doing. He is standing in the way of progress, but they all are. Elizabeth Warren is. Amy Klobuchar is. They're standing in the way of progress. They're trying to stop us from moving this country forward and moving our society forward and making massive change. They're trying to put a stop to that. Kilo says, and you would think as a veteran, he would see the benefits from Medicare for All. He was at one point in favor of Medicare for All. before people threw a bunch of money at him and he changed his opinion. That's exactly what happened. He got a lot of big money donations that had made him have a change of heart. But Pete was at one time in support of Medicare for all. Now he's for Medicare for all that want it, which is just his clever way of trying to confuse people and make them think that private insurance is better for some reason than Medicare. And forgetting entirely that Bernie's version of Medicare is even better than the existing version of Medicare, which is a very popular program. But Bernie's version includes dental and vision. So they leave that out too. So not only are you saving money on your health care, you're saving money on your dental as well. And I'm sure your employer's the same. Mine is that's two separate payments. This is a net gain. So even if your taxes go up a little bit, it's a net gain and your health care improves. And health care improves for people that aren't as lucky and fortunate as you to have a job that offers good health care. Not everybody does. And I and millions of people like me are willing to fight for people and fight for what's right. Hey Dale, good to see you, man. Ginger said his father was more progressive than Bernie. He has no reason to be neoliberal except that he's sold out. He's a complete sellout. 100%. And has been for a long time. I think he's a Manchurian candidate. He's been groomed for this. And I also think he's CIA. But, that's just based on a lot of evidence. That's all. It's an opinion based on a lot of evidence. Kilo says he's a freaking disgrace. Medicare for all is just the right thing to do. I can't understand the argument against it. I can't understand the argument against Medicare for all either. And I've heard a lot of different ones. But what it mostly usually seems to be is that people feel like some people aren't worthy. Like the pushback I get from people on the right or against Medicare for all, they're like, well, you should work hard and that's how you get insurance. But you don't understand that all that needs to happen is for you to get really sick and your life would be ruined. Like everything's great for you right now, but Dale, we were just talking about Pete Buttigieg. Dale asked, what are we talking about? Pete Buttigieg. We just were. Him being a shill. But mostly them trying their best to beat Bernie and to misinform people and misdirect people and misinform. I said that already. Confuse them. And get them to vote against their own best interest, against what's best for them. And to convince them that it's not possible. Hey, Steve. But that's their job, and that's what they're trying to do, and they're failing. They're failing. Every one of them, look how aggressive they were at the debates, Pete especially. I thought Pete was especially aggressive at the debate. They are terrified. I really think they are. I think they understand that they're going to lose. I worry what they'll pull. I worry how far they're willing to go and what they'll do. But I know that we will do what needs to happen. And that's why this is going to succeed, because we own this and we are committed to doing the work to make it happen. And that's why it will happen. Kilo says worker health insurance is a way for them to hold you captive. It is. And they're like with Pete. He's like, Medicare for all, we want it, and be able to choose your health coverage and choose this and that and have choice, blah, 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 and freedom. It's the American way. Well, your employer chooses your health insurance. You don't choose your health insurance. And your insurance provider chooses what doctors you get to go see. So where's the choice and freedom in all that? And then they're like, well, I can't trust the government. How can I trust the government to run my health care? All right, the government's been does the government run Medicare? I'd have to look into it. We're talking about the government being able to negotiate with drug companies like they do all around the world so that we don't pay 16 times more for prescription medications than they do in these other countries. And the government having the power to negotiate with these insurance companies to get better rates and better deals. You're not giving the government the ability to make a phone call to your doctor and say, Dave, don't fix his broken leg because blah, blah, blah. That's not what it is. The government's not micromanaging your health care. It's that they get to negotiate and not allow this out of control greed that is killing people. Ginger says, imagine if they lose and we're able to break this cycle of corruption. Imagine when they lose. Let's just for a second imagine that. And let's live in that world. Picture it. Picture our victory, what that will do, how that will inspire millions, and then picture a society where people have health care as a human right. People make a living wage. People live with dignity. We're moving in a direction that's sustainable. Legalizing medicine, decriminalizing it, ending this prison for profit system and this endless war, corporate welfare, and unending, unquenchable, never stopping greed that is draining us all and destroying the planet. It needs to be put in check, and the only thing that can put it in check is us standing united and doing all we can exactly like we are. So we're doing the right thing. And that's what we talk about here every day at 7. This is the Daily Bern. It's a motivational show for the political revolution. We gather every day at 7 and talk about this fight, but we own it. We understand that we must do everything needed to make this happen. Dale says, I don't think they run Medicare, they just pay the bills, same as Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's what I thought. Steve says people can't start their own business because they won't have any health insurance till they are successful. Medicare for All would help in so many ways, and it would help small businesses tremendously. Because if your health care wasn't tied to your employer, would you even still be where you're working? You know, that's a question you might want to ask yourself. But they hold you down, like Kilo was saying, with your health care and with your benefit package. But maybe you'd have more freedom, like Steve was saying, if you want to start a business for yourself and do something else. You would have that freedom if you had the health insurance. You didn't have to worry about losing it when you lost your job. Or just having your life ruined if you happen to get sick. You know, if you just happen to fall to a human ailment. Well, right away, you're uninsurable. Can't cover you. Kilo says things would be okay if we simply had leadership that was genuinely for the people. Well, that's where we're going. That's where we're heading. These people have had their time. They've had too much time. This is our time. It is time for us to do what needs to happen and make this happen right now, not later. So we need to be making a full commitment here to go all the way. And I'm afraid that all the way is going to be this brokered convention strategy. They're really going to try to see this through and do this in front of everybody's faces, right out in the open. Oh, thank you guys. Steve and Ginger and Jack shared. Thank you for sharing. Yet, all of that helps get this out. This is a shadow banned show, heavily. That's not me being crazy or conspiracy guy. But burners are also heavily shadow banned. and are also being very suppressed. Our whole message is being very suppressed. They're locking us up in Facebook jail. They're blocking our posts. They're making sure no one sees it, that our message is hidden. Push harder. Keep pushing. Make a second profile. Ghost them. Have 3 or 4 profiles. They're going to take this away from us. They're going to do all they can to stop us. But we can't let that matter. We can't let them bring us down and bring this to an end. And the only thing that can stop us is us giving in and us allowing them to break us and break our spirit and break our will. Steve says, I think Bernie will run away with this. They won't be able to stop us. Bernie is going to run away with this. I 100% believe he will. But what they'll do is what they've been doing in Iowa and New Hampshire so far, and what I think we're going to see tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's no shenanigans, but I think there might be. But what they're trying to do is make sure they can't stop him from winning. Bernie's going to win these states. They can't stop that. They just want to pull enough delegates so that he doesn't get to 1990. If he gets to 1990, he clenches the nomination. They can't let him do that. Dale says, I sure hope you're right, Steve, and I sure hope you are too. Matter of fact, I'm going to join in and like that comment right now. Yeah, Jack, most of us can't meet the deductibles. You know, you have insurance, but it still costs you $50 to go see the doctor, whatever your copay is on your pills. I had one pill one time. It was a $150 copay. That was with insurance. This greed's gone on too long. We have to bring it to an end. That's all that will bring it to an end. Kilo says, when we win, it's going to be an awkward next day for the Warren and Pete. Yeah. It's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people. And Warren has went out of her way to show her true colors. She is an enemy of the progressive movement. She's not a real progressive. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Kilo says, I would like to see different parts of the country do different things. Ties to work and insurance makes any of that impossible. Absolutely right. It limits your freedom. So not having Medicare for all actually gives you less freedom because you're being held back from your dreams and your goals because you're tied to your job because you depend on your insurance. Steve says, I'm going to make me another profile, Stephen Von Wolfenbrandt, my alter ego. I love it. And when I get that friend request, I will hit accept, Mr. Wolfenbrandt. No, that's what you got to do. I've had to do it. Wasn't able to share. And if they ever finally lock me up into a Facebook jail and make it to where I can't stream on Facebook, there is still YouTube, but I may go on as a different name on Facebook and keep continuing forward until we find a better platform. We're going to have to find a better platform and a better way to stay in touch and to stay connected and to communicate. But right now, these are the best options. It's just understand they can take them away anytime they want. Man, I've got something. Got a frog in my throat. Dale says Bernie's been working on that. Bernie's been working on a lot of things. Bernie's been doing amazing. The campaign is doing a great job. Really couldn't ask for more from the campaign. They are doing tremendous amount of work. The volunteers are doing a tremendous amount of work. There are millions of volunteers working their asses off to make this happen. And maybe you could be a volunteer. Go to BernieSanders.com. Find out if there's any way that you can help Why did it hide this? Because you said Dick? It's Dick Van Dyke. That's the man's name. I went ahead and showed it. I hope that doesn't get the video pulled on YouTube. But you can't say Dick Van Dyke? Like, that's the dude's name. Isn't that weird? It flagged it. I showed it. I hope that doesn't get me a strike. It's weird that I have to worry about stuff like that. But if you get certain amount of strikes on YouTube, they pull you down. They don't mess around. Steve says he's rich too. Who is? Stephen von Wolfenbrandt? Stefan. Oh, I didn't even realize it was even fancier than I thought. It's Stefan von Wolfenbrandt. Von Wolfenbrandt. Dude, you're too fancy for me. There was 5 curves in that name. Let's see here. Yeah, Kilo G's, right? I don't care if they do strike me for it, because it's his name. I'm sorry, I got distracted by that. Ginger says, I'm stressing over driving an hour and a half away tomorrow. I die under Bernie's schedule. Bernie's schedule is pretty tremendous for a 78-year-old man. But he's pretty vigorous for a 78-year-old man. He's in very good health. You know, and they tried playing up on that. And then Bloomberg tried to distance himself from the fact that he also has 2 stints. Oh, that was a long time ago. It doesn't matter that it was a long time ago. You still have 2 stints. You've went through the same procedure as me. Most of these people up here on the stage are the same ages. And then using Bloomberg and putting their support behind Bloomberg proves that they don't care a bit about a real Democrat. And the age issue isn't even an issue. It proves all of those things. What they care about is not having Bernie Sanders. That's all they care about, is making sure that Bernie Sanders doesn't become the nominee. And that's what they're all there for. And they're all there to stop. But we are not going to allow them to stop us. We're not going to let them. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we succeed. Because we must. And that's why we will. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been a long one. We just hit 40 minutes. I have a plan later, and I don't know how I should do it. I'm afraid to just switch the set and continue on. But I had a plan to do something later on and come back on the timeline. I was going to just switch. I will do that one day. I'm going to do a marathon one day where I go from show to show and a subscription drive or some kind of thing like that where we do like 3 or 4 different shows in a row. But this has been the Daily Bern, and we do this every day at 7 on Our Revolution War Room. That's this page if you're on Facebook. And join the page and follow the shows and share to the page. Feel free to share to Our Revolution War Room anything that's revolution based and has to do with the revolution. Share it to the page. I want more content on here. Right now, the only real content on this page is this show. So I would love for anyone to share stuff to the page and to get active in the page. That would be neat. Ginger says 2 stints and has lived another 35 years. Jack says you all have a great evening. You too. Steve says mention Dick Van Dyke get banned for obscenity. Right? Isn't that weird? Can you believe that it flagged that comment? You can't say it at all? Like, what about people that's their name? Jack, Bernie 2020, absolutely. Bernie 2020. Bernie your vest. This is Bernie your vest, guys. This is a 100% commitment. But thanks for watching, and I will see some of you here in a little bit on my timeline. I know that a lot of you are not going to give up. I think Tim Black does a big show on Fridays, but I got something planned that I want to see if it works. So I'll see you guys in a little while. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you Monday on the next